In the ever-evolving landscape of 2025, the story of Marshall Manufacturing stands as a testament to the delicate balance between tradition and innovation. For 3 generations, the Marshall family had crafted precision machinery with an unwavering commitment to quality, their factory floors echoing with the wisdom of decades past. But as artificial intelligence swept through the manufacturing sector like a technological tsunami, this once thriving enterprise found itself at a crossroads that would determine not just its survival, but its very soul. James Marshall, the 58-year-old CEO, stood at his office window overlooking the factory floor, his weathered hands clasped behind his back, as he watched the familiar dance of human workers and mechanical systems that had changed little since his father's time. The pride of craftsmanship ran deep in his veins, a legacy passed down through generations of Marshalls who believed in the irreplaceable value of human intuition and experience. But while James clung to tradition, his 32-year-old daughter Sarah saw a different future. Armed with degrees in artificial intelligence and business administration, she watched with growing concern as their competitors embraced AI-driven automation. One by one, long-standing manufacturers in their industry were either adapting or closing their doors. The writing was on the wall, written in binary code that James refused to read. Sarah's position as Chief Innovation Officer often felt like a hollow title, her suggestions for modernization meeting the same immovable wall of resistance from her father. Yet beneath the surface of their daily operations, she had begun orchestrating a silent revolution. Working late into the night, Sarah had been developing and implementing an artificial intelligence system she called Heritage, holistic enterprise restructuring intelligence, transforming ancestral guidance experience. The system was different from the cold, efficiency-focused AI that their competitors employed. Sarah had spent months feeding it not just production data and industry standards, but something far more precious, the accumulated knowledge of Marshall Manufacturing's veteran employees. Every technique, every shortcut, every intuitive adjustment that had been developed over decades, she captured it all, creating a unique hybrid of artificial and human intelligence. As winter turned to spring in 2025, the manufacturing landscape grew increasingly brutal. Quantum Motors, their largest competitor, announced a complete automation overhaul that would reduce their production costs by 60%. The following week, Heritage Mechanics, a family-owned business much like their own, closed its doors after 8 decades of operation. The pressure on Marshall Manufacturing intensified as clients began questioning their higher prices and longer production times. James Marshall's response was to double down on their traditional approach, launching a marketing campaign celebrating their human craftsmanship. But behind the scenes, Heritage was quietly learning, adapting and improving processes in ways that even Sarah hadn't anticipated. The AI system began identifying patterns in their manufacturing processes that had evolved over generations, understanding not just what they did, but why they did it. The first signs of change were subtle. Production efficiency increased by 5%, then 12%, then 20%. Quality control reports showed a marked improvement in consistency. Workers found themselves supported by AI-driven insights that enhanced their skills rather than replaced them. The system learned to predict maintenance needs before equipment failed and optimize supply chains without sacrificing their relationships with long-standing partners. But it was impossible to keep such transformations hidden forever. On a crisp autumn morning, James Marshall stormed into Sarah's office, a tablet in his trembling hands displaying the latest production reports. His face was a storm of emotions, anger, betrayal, and beneath it all, fear. The confrontation that had been brewing for months finally erupted. "You've brought machines into our family's legacy," James accused, his voice thick with disappointment. "Everything we've built, everything your grandfather stood for, you're throwing it away for what? To become just another soulless, automated factory?" Sarah stood her ground, though her heart raced. "Dad, I want you to meet someone," she said, turning to her computer. "This is Heritage." The screen came to life with a visualization of the AI system's interface, but what followed wasn't the cold mechanical interaction James expected. Instead, Heritage began explaining how it had incorporated the manufacturing principles established by James's father, showing how it had preserved and enhanced rather than replaced their traditional methods. It demonstrated how it had learned from the muscle memory of their most experienced craftsmen, creating a perfect synthesis of human expertise and technological precision. The revelation sparked a transformation in James Marshall that rippled through the entire company. Rather than replacing their workforce, Heritage had evolved into a mentor, preserving and enhancing the skills that had made Marshall Manufacturing special. Workers who had feared automation found themselves elevated to new roles, their expertise amplified by AI assistants. As word of their unique approach spread through the industry, something unexpected happened. Other companies, facing the same struggle between tradition and progress, began reaching out to Marshall Manufacturing. They weren't just interested in their products anymore. They wanted to understand how this family business had managed to embrace AI while preserving its soul. Sarah and James began working together to refine and expand Heritage, their different perspectives now creating strength rather than conflict. The system evolved to include more than just manufacturing processes. It began capturing and preserving the stories, values, and cultural elements that made each company unique. By the end of 2025, Marshall Manufacturing had become a beacon for a new movement in industrial AI implementation. Their approach proved that artificial intelligence could do more than just optimize. It could preserve and enhance human expertise, bridging the gap between tradition and innovation. The company's order books were fuller than ever, but more importantly, their factory floors still buzzed with human activity, now harmoniously integrated with AI assistance. The transformation sparked discussions across industries about the true potential of AI integration. Instead of viewing artificial intelligence as a replacement for human workers, companies began exploring ways to use it as a tool for preserving and enhancing human knowledge. Marshall Manufacturing's success demonstrated that the future didn't have to be an either-or choice between tradition and technology. The story of their journey became a case study in business schools and a blueprint for other family-owned companies facing similar challenges. Sarah found herself regularly speaking at conferences, sharing how Heritage had evolved from a secret project to a revolutionary approach to AI implementation. James, once the strongest opponent of technological change, became an unexpected advocate for thoughtful AI integration that respected and enhanced human expertise. Their experience revealed a profound truth. The most successful AI implementations weren't those that simply automated existing processes, but those that understood and preserved the human elements that made each business unique. Heritage didn't just learn from data, it learned from people, their experiences, their intuitions, and their traditions. As 2026 approached, Marshall Manufacturing stood at the forefront of a new industrial revolution, one that proved tradition and innovation could not only coexist, but strengthen each other. The company's workforce had grown rather than shrunk, with new positions emerging at the intersection of traditional craftsmanship and AI technology. Their success challenged the narrative that automation necessarily meant the end of human involvement in manufacturing. The movement they inspired spread beyond manufacturing into other industries, from healthcare to education, demonstrating how AI could be implemented in ways that enhance rather than replace human expertise. Companies began to understand that their heritage, their accumulated knowledge, experience, and cultural values could be preserved and amplified through thoughtful AI integration. Looking back, Sarah realized that her secret project had done more than save the company. It had shown a way forward for countless other businesses struggling with the same challenges. The future of work, they discovered, wasn't about choosing between humans and machines, but about finding ways to combine the best of both. James Marshall still stood at his office window, watching the factory floor, but now he saw something different, a harmonious blend of traditional craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology, each making the other stronger. The machines hadn't replaced their workers, they had empowered them to achieve things neither humans nor AI could accomplish alone. As the sun set on another productive day at Marshall Manufacturing, the factory hummed with the sound of progress, not the cold efficiency of pure automation, but the warm dynamic energy of human expertise enhanced by artificial intelligence. The company had not just survived the AI revolution, it had helped shape it into something more humane and sustainable than anyone had imagined possible. Their story became a beacon of hope for other family businesses facing similar challenges, proving that embracing the future didn't mean abandoning the past. The legacy of Marshall Manufacturing had not just been preserved, it had been transformed into something even more remarkable, a testament to the power of bridging the gap between tradition and innovation, between human wisdom and artificial intelligence, between the lessons of the past and the possibilities of the future. In the end, the greatest innovation at Marshall Manufacturing wasn't the AI system itself, but the realization that progress doesn't have to come at the cost of tradition. Sometimes, the most powerful transformations happen when we find ways to honor our heritage while embracing the future, creating something entirely new that carries forward the best of both worlds.